You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Guitar Talk. That is John over there.
That's Dave over there.
Hey, what do you know?
Oh, I fucked up.
You brought the wrong mug. No, it's quite okay.
It's not okay. What happened to me this week? Things got weird.
What happened? Let's discuss.
Oh, this week got weird. I bought a chorus pedal.
Yes.
Which is
Can I guess which one it was? Because I have to try to guess. If you were to buy a chorus, let me try to guess which chorus you would buy.
Didn't I already tell you?
Fuck you. You sent me the picture of it.
Exactly.
It was a Boss CS a CE3.
That's right. With a green, the green backplate label, which apparently signifies that it was made in Japan.
Right. I was going to say it's like the version 1 of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I bought that, and it was weird. I got this wild hair up my ass that I needed a different color every once in a while because I generally use the same couple sounds all the time. And for some reason now I decided I need a new color.
What do you mean a color of sound?
Right.
So you bought a CE3, which I believe means chorus ensemble.
That's correct.
Right. And this is a sought after, right? Isn't there 2 different chorus pedals by Boss, the CE and the...
I think the CE2 is the sought after one. The CE3 are available all day long on Reverb for under $100.
What's the other chorus called? The CH?
CH, yeah. The super chorus.
Gotcha.
So when I was at True Tone, I demoed... shout out to True Tone Music in Santa Monica, Los Angeles, California, by the way.
Fantastic guitar shop. Fantastic.
Anybody in the area should be patronizing that place rather than buying your stuff on Amazon. Anyways, there's my shout out to local business. I think True Tone is the best store in the neighborhood for sure.
Yeah, clearly.
Anyway, I'm there and they've got something from Way Huge. I can't remember what it was called, but
the Bonamassa pedal.
No, it wasn't a signature model. Okay, unless you're just indicating he uses it.
Well, he uses a Way Huge pedal that they made a signature model for him, but I think there was one he used before.
All right. Well, just for the sake of accuracy, I'm going to do the old Google trick and say Google Way Huge chorus. The Blue Hippo. Okay. So I demoed the Blue Hippo.
Okay.
I demoed the Electro Harmonix Deluxe Electric Mistress, which is not really a chorus, but when you turn the flanger almost like with the rate all the way to 0, it kind of has this very cool effect.
Sure. Now, is this the Electric Mistress that I used to have?
They don't make the big one anymore. It's like a medium-sized one.
Gotcha. Okay. And that sound, for everybody who may not know, is that was the Andy Summers sound.
Yeah.
He basically used an Electric Mistress with the thing turned all the way down to give a chorus effect instead of a flange.
It sounds awesome. It really does. And I had it before, but I had the real big one. I think I had the same one you did.
You did.
Yeah.
I totally recall that.
Great sounding pedal. I wouldn't mind having it, but it wasn't what I was in the mood for that day. I'd probably get that also just to have it because it is different. And then they had an original...
The Electro Harmonix pedals, it's like, hey, let's make a flanger pedal and house it in a 75 Dodge Dart. Okay, great. Yeah, that's going to fit nice on my pedal board.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Like, hey, thinking.
Right. Yeah, some of the old designs are kind of like obnoxious. You remember
well, now the new ones are like, hey, we made a smaller deluxe model. Oh yeah, how is it? Have you seen the smart car?
Right.
Excellent.
It's still quite large, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I get the irritation there. Because then even the little ones, like that are more appropriately sized, are named such a way that you don't really want to buy it. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get the memory toy. It's like, I don't know if I want to get the memory toy. I kind of wanted the Memory Man, but then it was inside of an old Nova.
But then Moore makes a knockoff of the Electric Mistress in a baby pedal.
Right. And what do they call it?
No, but how are they even putting it in a baby pedal? It's like, I have this one in a small automobile. You can't give me a regular size pedal, but this company not only can make it in a regular size pedal, they can make it in an infant pedal.
Right.
That doesn't even fit properly on a pedal tray because it's too short.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
a memory fetus.
Yeah, you got to wrestle with it. It's like nobody can make it in a regular standard box.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's obnoxious, but that do you remember the TC Electronics used to do annoying pedals too? They had they were good sounding pedals, but they had that hardwired AC cable coming out the side of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so did Carl Martin.
Right. Exactly. And it's just like, man, that works under the pretense that like it's the only pedal that you're using.
Yeah, it works under the pretense that it's 1970. And you got a toaster cable coming out of your Carl Martin compressor.
It's unbelievable. Anyway, that's great. So the so I demoed, let's see, what else did I demo? The original CE2, which is the very sought after Boss pedal. They had one of those on consignment, and it was
how was it?
It was great. It was fine.
But how was it in comparison to the one you bought?
I chose the CE3 out of the two of them because what I was looking for was related to a band that I was listening to this week that I thought was amazing. I just heard some sounds and textures from this group called Big Wreck, which we should talk about a little bit.
Yes.
Anyway, I wanted something that would give me a new sound, but wasn't too obtrusive. The CE2, I get why people like it. It's very lush, if you want to use that word. It's very lush. It's very thick. The CE3 had the same sort of characteristics, but it was clearer, if that makes any sense. Not quite as much color. And I ended up liking that one the best out of everything that I tried. So then, I purchased that, and I've been screwing around with it. And I kind of dig the edge of breakup sounds with the chorus pedal, the clean sounds with the chorus. Once you get into heavy distortion, it's not for me. But
yes,
the semi-dirty and the clean it's cool every once in a while. Have a different sound.
So for a chorus for the last, I want to say 10 years at least, I've been using the Ola by Strymon. And I love it. I haven't had a need to get off of it. And I remember when Mike Pickford sold it to me, is because he wanted a Tortuga. Some brand had a Tortuga chorus, a turtle. And I was like, and I heard it, and I was like, why would you get that over this? It didn't make any sense to me, but I really like the Strymon. The issue with choruses, and anybody that uses it, if you're using it with clean, you want it to sound as big and lush as, but you can't have enough. You can't get enough. You know what I mean? It's like you just want to layer it and have this thick, clean chorus. When you use distortion, you don't want it nearly as much. You want it flavoring the lightly seasoning the sound as opposed to being, and so you have to find that middle ground. I found with the Strymon, when I go to distortion, I take the mix and I bring the mix down and I get that perfect Neil Schon sound, but I can't keep it the same as I do with the clean, and I use it more for clean, for that lush clean.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's a fun pedal. Choruses are fun.
Yeah, for years I've been kind of avoiding it, but we'll see. We'll see how long it sticks on the board. I hope it sticks for a while.
It's funny because when it comes to pedals and it comes to stuff like this, people are like, I don't really use it. I don't really like it. I don't really use effects. I don't like effects. I want it to be clean. I want it to be this. I want it to be that. And, for the most part, okay, well, who cares? That's just what you like. But if you really want to, like, if you're doing something and you want it to have a certain sound, you want to put the seasoning and the flavoring in that it sounds like. When you hear, like, if you're to go play a song by, like, any 80s rock band like, if you're going to go play Bloodstone, your favorite song in a cover band, or play anything like it, you need to have chorus on that clean guitar in the beginning when it starts. And you need those things. And they sound good, and it's good to find the ones. I'm just saying, for people who are against pedals, that's fine. And people who are for it, I get it. But I think to go out there and have the best sound is the most important, as long as you can play. I mean, if you're out there and you can't play, I don't care what you're using, you're never going to sound good. And that is the internet today, when people are like so gear-minded, like, oh, I want to compare this pedal to this pedal. Whatever's accessible to you, get out there and play. Stop nitpicking. You know what I mean? Like, people here are probably thinking, John bought a Boss pedal. Boss sucks. Boss sounds fucking great. It was on 100 records, thousands of records from the late 70s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounded good enough for them.
I'm sure that I could probably make some Boss distortion pedals sound good, and I'm not talking about DS1. Just any drive that they make. I'm sure I could make some of them sound good, but I think where Boss kind of loses me is I don't think they have a whole lot in terms of distortion sounds that I like from them. But like their other stuff, like their delays, like a DD3, how good is a DD3?
It's good enough.
Oh, it's
That's how good it is. It's good enough. You can
it's fantastic.
Play it on a real record. You could do anything with it. You could, I mean, the phaser, the flangers. And I want to say this, the Boss, what is the super overdrive called?
SD1.
The SD1 is effing fantastic.
That's a good pedal.
It's just as good as a Tube Screamer. It's just as good.
It is a Tube Screamer.
Basically, it really is. In fact, it might be better. The SD1 is fantastic. That is a great pedal.
I would agree. That's a good one. But I mean, like,
no, I know the distortion pedal, so that's really an overdrive and not a distortion. But that is a really good pedal.
Yeah. Have you ever messed around with the OD? I think right now they're up to like OD3 or something. Not the SD, but the OD.
No.
I've never messed around with it either. I don't really know the characteristics, what's claiming to be different or whatever. But, I mean, like DS1, I've never been able to make a DS1 really sound good.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something funny. Is
obviously, like the heavy metal, all that.
I went to an open jam yesterday. And the guy's rig I was using had an Ethos pedal. It was a smaller
Ethos. I've heard of it.
That's the brand. I can't remember which model it was. He had a Timmy, an Ethos, and one other pedal which was for slide, giving you that Dwayne Allman overdrive slide sound.
Okay.
I went in there with my Strat. I plugged in. I turned on the Ethos pedal, kept everything else off. It was like an overdrive, and I'm going into a little Walter amp, which I don't know if anyone knows little Walter amps. They're awesome. And the sound was fantastic. Now, it was darker than I would have liked it, and I'm playing a Strat. But the guys who amp it it's an open jam, and I'm not about to go EQ his amp for my taste, because when he played, it sounded great, whatever pickups he's using in his Les Paul and SG. I was up there with a Strat, and to me, it was dark sounding for my taste. But still great pedals. I could have made it work. Stuff I would have never bought. Stuff I don't own. And, you can make anything sound good. I mean, I think it sounded great in the end. I was like, but it wouldn't be something I would chase. And, you get to the point of, God, are you trying? Because I know what you're doing with your bands, and you're listening now to Big Wreck and Ian Thornley. So you know what you're doing. It's about you're attacking it what I consider to be the right way. You're not trying to say I'm trying to come up with John Bingham's signature tone. You're saying, I want to play for the song and I want to make these songs sound most likely how they sound. You know what I mean? And so many people, I think, are so into like, I'm trying to develop my sound. Your sound is really in your playing. I mean,
Yeah, I would agree.
Van Halen used a Phase 90 on Van Halen 1. That was such a big sound of the first album. He didn't use it on Van Halen 2, and he still sounds like Eddie.
Right.
Women and Children First, the third album, I mean, it's as raw as you can get in the recording, and it still sounds like Eddie.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really hard to get away from the fact that it's in your hands.
It really is. And folks,
her life was in your hands.
Especially when you're on Pornhub, it's in your hands. Thank you.
So have you ever heard of this guy, this Ian Thornley guy? Were you familiar with him before?
I have not heard of him until you mentioned it on Facebook about Big Wreck, and then you said to me, and I, a lot of times when I am around, like noodling on my guitar, I'll go to YouTube on I have Apple TV, and I'll just go to YouTube and I'll be like Big Wreck songs, and it just shuffles and plays me through YouTube, and it was heavier than I thought it was going to be, but I thought it was good. It was interesting. I haven't given it a full listen, but I will buy an album and download it because what I heard, I found it to be not what I was expecting, but good.
Yeah, I'm really curious which songs you heard.
Voices, I think it's called.
Voices? Okay. I don't know their catalog yet. I just started, like I said, this week, and they've got a record called Albatross from 2012 that seems to be the one that I'm kind of spending a lot of my time with. Mm-hmm. Voices. Looking for voices right now. Let's see if I can come up with anything. I'm on my app right now. So this album Albatross seems really good, but they've got the newest album has that song Voices on it. I haven't heard it yet. Yeah,
But for the Sun is the name of the album. Oh, it was just released. Yeah, it's a good sound.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet. I'm really curious. Yeah. I started at the beginning. I checked out In Loving Memory Of, which is their first one. There's some good stuff on that. The Albatross album and the Ghosts album I've listened to a few times each this week, and I'm into it a lot. I gotta say, here's the thing that really surprised me about Ian Thornley. So I'd never heard of this cat. Turns out he's a Sir endorsed artist. Yes. He can play his balls off, and he can sing like a bird. The guy's, you know what I said to my buddy the other day, I think he's the Canadian Richie Kotzen.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Well, I mean, he kind of has that voice. He has that like poor man's Chris Cornell voice.
Right.
And he can play. It's just, yeah.
You know what's funny is I don't know if
sort of looks like him.
I don't know if Richie Kotzen has the poor man's Cornell voice. I think if Richie Kotzen applied that voice and with the right producer, it would be, I think, even there's something a little bit more precise about the way he sings than Chris Cornell.
Oh, yeah. Well, right. But Chris Cornell probably over the length of his career made 100 times the money that Richie's made.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm just talking about the quality of the voice. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, yeah, no, he definitely is a better writer, Cornell, because I think what the guys, and I hate to say anything bad about Winery Dogs because I love it, but I think the song subjects don't delve deep enough into their own personal shit. And sometimes you have to reveal that pain and that stuff that goes on in life and sing about it and get angry about it. And, when you hear Cornell singing his songs, like just even like Suicide or 4th of July, right. There's a pain in those songs, and the songs, and lyrically revealing.
There's a lot of pain in me, Darlene.
Yes. But Richie Kotzen's stuff, I feel like it's a little bit more on the surface. Like we're not getting to know who Richie is And that would be, as a producer, my critique. If I could take those guys in the studio, I would be like, let's really get involved with some lyrics here and some history, because Richie has a history, where he had some stuff going on even in Poison, and even if he wrote a song about the little debacle, or as little Carmine on The Sopranos will say, the debacle with him and Ricky Rocket from Poison, that would create a buzz where people would go want to check out the tune and hear what he has to say in it. I just feel like they don't say much, whereas Cornell, depressed guy or not depressed guy, he sang more revealing stuff. And so did Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell.
Sure. I don't disagree with you there. If I could give credit to the talent that is Richie Kotzen, or in this case, Ian Thornley, I think their voices have lasted a lot longer than Chris Cornell's did.
Well, Cornell, they didn't sing. Well, they didn't sing 1,000 shows a year.
That's probably true. Yeah, I don't know what the. Well, then again, Soundgarden was wrapped up by what, 97, and then he did
96.
He did some solo stuff, and then he did a handful of years later. He did the Audio Slave stuff, but I don't know how much of a road warrior was Cornell. I don't know.
I think that first solo album he had with Say a Prayer for the End of the World, or whatever it's called, Something for the End of the World, I think it's a fantastic, very Beatle-esque song.
Sure.
And
but his voice, by the time he was an Audio Slave, his voice was mostly not what it was in Soundgarden.
Yes. I mean, you listen to Bad Motorfinger on songs Room 1,000 Miles Wide.
Sure.
His voice is killer.
Jesus Christ Pose or any of that
sort. Killer. Just killer. I mean,
and all I'm really saying is, I don't know if it's technique wise, pure talent. I don't know what it is, genetics, but these guys still have these voices that are just ridiculous.
Yeah, but to me, Chris Cornell in his heyday was the perfect blend of David Coverdale and Ronnie James Dio. I felt like if you took those, like, I could feel his influence from them just in note choices alone. And I mean, Coverdale's, his voice is gone too. But I think.
In fairness, Coverdale was going for a long time.
Yeah, but also I would say this: Richie Kotzen, with the right songs, could be as big, if not bigger, than Soundgarden ever was, in my opinion. If I owned a label and would approach the band Winery Dogs, I mean, all three players are fantastic. My problem with them, I would tell them, let's put the egos in the back pocket, stop with the fast, flashy licks, and let's put out 12 songs that are just fucking great songs. Then we can start adding the flash in here and there, but they become part of the fiber of the song. Like, I mean, it's hard not to when you got Portnoy, Billy Sheehan, and Richie Kotzen, but the average person doesn't give a shit. I mean, if you look at like any flashy playing that like David Lee Roth band did in the 80s, and then compare it to what Guns N' Roses did the same year coming out with, or a year after coming out with Appetite. It's like, here's a band without the pretension, without the ego, just coming in and playing songs. I think they would do better for themselves, personally. I think that they would, and it's hard to walk away from that because they're flashy guys. And it's, it's funny, if you listen to Toto, or if anyone hears a drummer or is a big Jeff Porcaro fan, Jeff Porcaro is probably the most non-flashy drummer of all time. And yet, ask somebody to play Rosanna and then go back and listen to him play it, to Jeff play it, and you're like, oh, that guy just has it. There's something about playing stuff that seems way more accessible, that might be difficult, but on a different level of just playing. Yeah, I don't know what song it is, but that I'm thinking of in my mind by Winery Dogs. But there's like this syncopated thing between him, Billy, and
Hmm.
Portnoy, the whole song, where I'm like, this is taking away from my enjoying the song because it's trying to be everything.
Yeah, I don't remember which one. Maybe Oblivion or something. But
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
okay, yeah. I dig the song, but yeah, I know what you mean. Richie's got a bunch of solo stuff too that I think is a
Oh
bit
yeah.
more introspective than the Winery Dogs stuff for sure. I think the biggest problem with the Winery Dogs is the name, the Winery Dogs. I don't know which one of those guys thought that was a good idea for a name. That's a rough one.
Yeah, I don't know if the name matters. It's almost like one of those things like how good a name was the Gin Blossoms when the song Hey Jealousy hit the radio and people were like, who is this? It's the Gin Blossoms. They were like, well, that name sucks, but they still went out and bought the records. You know what I mean? I don't like the songs, but I'm just saying it's a horrible name for a band. The Gin Blossoms. Oh yeah, is that the name of the band?
Speaking of the 90s, I introduced my daughter the other day to Kiss from a Rose from Seal because I thought she would like it.
The Batman song.
That song was probably the biggest song on the radio that year. What are they,
Yeah.
94 maybe? Something like
Yeah.
that?
I used to love Crazy when that came out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm never gonna survive unless we are a little crazy. I always thought that was a good tune.
Yeah.
What did you think of Kiss from a Rose?
He had a couple of good tunes, but Kiss from a Rose always makes me laugh because the melody, has all these different notes in it. And you're just like,
Yeah.
what? But it's funny. I wouldn't have given it any time of day back then because I was too preoccupied with guitar music. Listening to it now, I'm like, that's a good fucking song. But,
So I saw talking about artists.
She didn't
that
give
are
a
out-
shit, by the way.
I'm sure. It's not. I can't imagine somebody going back and being like, I don't own anything by Seal. I want to own everything by Seal. That conversation's not happening anytime soon. I was watching this weekend some clips from Daryl's house.
Oh, that's the thing. What is it?
Daryl Hall has a show
Yeah.
live from Daryl's house, and he
No,
had this
that's
singer that I hadn't heard of called Anderson East,
no idea.
and the two of them sang "She's Gone." They traded verses and choruses. This kid was phenomenal.
What tune is She's Gone?
I spend eternity in the city. I let the carbon monoxide choke my thoughts away. How the hell do you not know She's Gone?
I got no idea.
Anyways, you got to look this kid up because the kid sang his balls off on it. And very rarely when you watch that show where you're like, oh, this guy's giving Daryl Hall a run for his money. I was like, this kid's singing it sounds better.
I want every single episode of Daryl's house to be, oh, here she comes. Watch out. Every single episode. This week, we have Rod Stewart singing She's a Man-Eater.
Right.
Coming up next week, She's a Man-Eater.
He does that anyways. Every time he at least with some people, he does, there's like 3 or 4 different people that did She's Gone. Rich Girl.
Meanwhile, I, again, would implore anybody out there who has not heard it, check out Albatross from Big Wreck and tell me if I'm crazy. I think it's freaking phenomenal.
Folks, I'll say this. You don't have to listen to it to tell him he's crazy. Just tell him he's crazy, but then watch it anyways.
Precisely. You know what I haven't done in the last few weeks? I haven't looked at any comments on the YouTube channels.
Oh, really?
I want to see all the comments where everybody's saying, I'm pretty sure John's about 20 pounds fatter than he was when you guys started this. I want those kind of comments. I love that stuff. It's my favorite. It's also maybe accurate. No, it's not accurate.
Well, I see your hair is coming and you missed a shave on the head.
See that? Yeah. But, when we really start it growing in, it's obviously thin, right here. So that's a bummer. This is the aging process. I also trimmed this up a little bit, letting it fill in a little bit more. But yeah, going for. I'm gonna try and get some back. See what happens.
So
Whoa.
I just sent you that clip.
Yeah, you did. My screen went blue.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, for some reason, when you send me something, the screen goes blue.
Just check that out for a second to hear this kid's voice.
Yeah, this guy's got a good voice. So, who is he? Where's he come from? Why is he?
He's got
Daryl's
a deal, a record deal. He's got hits. I guess he's a country guy. Well, what a voice on him.
Yeah, wow.
Right? He's great.
Kid's got pipes. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was great. It was so I was watching him this weekend and I was really enjoying him. I'm going to dig deeper into his catalog and see what he's about. But I really like his voice. He's done some other things live with his band too. I've seen him do Fooled Around and Fell in Love, and I wasn't crazy about it because his voice has a certain soul to it. I wished he would have done more. Like this guy's a real good soul singer. I mean, he's singing that "She's Gone." He's like I said, he sounds his voice sounds better for it today than Daryl Hall's does.
Yeah. How old do you think Daryl Hall is these days?
Let me think.
Is he 70?
No.
Is he 65?
Let's say he's 20 and 74.
Okay.
How old would that make him?
65.
That would be my guess. And I'm just making a complete guess. Now I'm looking it up. He is born in 46.
Wow.
He is 72 years old.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Wow.
That puts him. He's about as old as Mick Jagger then. So I think Mick Jagger is give or take a year right there. As oddly enough is Sammy Hagar, which is
I think Hagar.
so strange.
I think isn't Jagger born in 45?
I don't know. I'm saying give or take a year from.
Yeah. Let's see. Mick Jagger. For some reason, I think he's born. No, he's born in 43.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
He's 3 years older.
Wow, Daryl Hall's that old.
Yeah.
What about John Oates?
How old is Baba Booey? Let's see. John Oates. John Oates is born in 48. He's 2 years younger. He's 71.
Unbelievable. Oh, there you go.
He is married to Amy Oates.
Have you been keeping up with South Park at all?
I've watched it sporadically in the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Have you happened to see the episode where they have the PC babies?
No.
Are you aware of PC Principal?
Yes.
And Vice Principal Strongwoman?
Yes. Have you seen the episode when they were doing the DNA testing?
No.
I'm 10% victim.
Folks, I haven't watched South Park in a number of years. I know this isn't guitar related, but me and Dave have been friends a long time, so sometimes we get off topic. I haven't watched South Park in years, and a friend of mine told me I got to watch this PC Babies episode. So apparently these two, they have children, PC Principal and Vice Principal Strongwoman. And it turns out that they're PC babies. And it's unbelievably funny. You got to give it a go when you have some time. Oh man, those guys are in 23 seasons in.
That's unbelievable.
And it's still funny as hell.
Yeah, it's better. It got better over time. I mean, I think like if you go back to the first 2 or 3 seasons, it's not even. I mean, they hit their stride around season 7. It was like, whoa, this thing went into overdrive.
Yeah, well, it went from like fart jokes into social commentary, and
which really got good.
Yeah,
the one when when Ike is having the affair with the teacher.
Oh, it's a great one.
Ah, and they're like, what's the teacher's name? What's his name? It's not a he, it's a she. What? A woman teacher's having sex with your brother? Nice.
Right.
Nice. Like, he's like, well, you guys going to arrest him? He goes, what are we going to arrest him for? Because she's not doing it with me?
Yeah,
Nice.
right.
Show is just brilliant, folks. Just great stuff.
There's some ridiculous highlights over the years. I don't know if you remember, but one of my favorites of all time was the Woodland Critters Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Good God. What is
Hey,
wrong with you guys?
Doing something, going back to something strange here for the show, but guitars. Did you, when you went to True Tone, was it initially to maybe look at some Gretsches and play some Gretsches?
No.
Are they a Gretsch dealer?
Oh, yeah.
Did you play any Gretches?
While I was there, I played a couple. Yeah.
Okay, which ones did you play?
Jet and an Electromatic. Nothing fancy. They
So the
had
Jet,
one
was
that
it a
good looking,
duo
and I was
Jet?
curious.
Was it a duo Jet or a single?
Single cut, Filtertrons, Bigsby. I think they call it like a 1959 Players, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
But you know what? It did have the Bigsby with the string through.
Oh, nice.
Which I thought was cool. Made me think.
Yeah, that's what I have on my guitar now. So the double cut version of that is my favorite.
Let me just add a little bit of my Gretsch lust was knocked back a little bit because
we believe the term is eradicated.
Yeah. So right. So when I was demoing these chorus pedals, they had this Japanese Telecaster on the wall, nothing outrageous, but it was white and it had black binding and a black pick guard, white, like I said, white paint. It's kind of like cool looking guitar. It sounded great. It had a beefy neck on it, so that contributed to the focused mids.
Awesome.
Yeah. It sounded great. I was playing through a Matchless Lightning. It's a 15
awesome
single 12.
Awesome amp.
Great amp, yeah. And it sounded fantastic. When I picked up the Gretsch and plugged it in, the Jet wasn't as awesome. Didn't sound as good. So I don't know. I've got to find the right Gretsch. But that one wasn't. Didn't sell me, as they say, folks.
Yeah, I mean, this was it a Fender made in Japan? Is that what you were playing, or was it a Japanese knockoff?
No, it was a Fender.
Oh, okay. So it's a Fender, How are the frets? Big or small?
Too small.
Yeah, that's Fender in Japan always does that. I don't know what the Fuji Gen, whatever it is.
Yeah, well, they do two things. They do the frets too small, and they do the paint too thick on the neck. They've always got those really thick lacquered necks.
Yeah, I don't get it. And people rave about it, and it's like,
No, it's not a guitar that I would buy, but it did sound pretty good. So
must be that tone paint.
I enjoyed it for the time that I was there. Well, they're using tone plastics to make that pick guard.
Oh, well, that's good. And that, in conjunct with the tone paint, will give the nice sounds into a Lightning 13, which uses tone Tolex.
Right. Acoustic Tolex. Acoustic grill cloth. Specially treated acoustic grill cloth. That's good stuff. Somebody the other day I was talking to said something about a capacitor. Sorry about
a flux capacitor?
Yeah, exactly. No, somebody was talking to me about the caps on the tone knob in a guitar. Like, oh, maybe you could fix it, fix the sound, whatever they were talking about. You could fix the sound by changing it to an original Bumblebee style cap kind of thing, like one of those conversations.
Yeah.
I said I think the best thing to do would just be take out the whole tone circuit. Like, I don't think any of that shit makes a bit of a difference. Just turn it all the way up and just leave it all the way up, and it's out of the circuit. I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But
I'm with you.
I don't remember who or why that conversation was happening, but I get a little I get a little uncomfortable, a little squeamish when people start. Oh, maybe you gotta have an orange drop capacitor in your tone stack. Me. Come on, dude.
Yeah. I don't understand a lot of that stuff. I just, first of all, I never use a tone knob because I feel like the sound I want's on my amp. But and everyone has their own thing, and that's fine. I'm lucky that I don't care to use it. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, like the pots and everything electronic has more to do with the sound of the guitar than the wood or the tone plastic, even though that's blasphemy. But yeah, I agree with you that I do not care for the Japanese Strats or Tellys because they are heavily they are like a ton of shellac or whatever the hell it is on the fingerboard and on the neck. And the frets are like these baby frets. It's like it feels like a Squire to me, personally.
Kind of, yeah. And it is weird that the consumer market gets so hungry for these older guitars, for example, that like out of nowhere, I remember 10 years ago, 70s guitars all of a sudden started becoming more valuable. Like 15 years ago, they were garbage and nobody wanted them.
Right.
10 years ago, they're starting to get more valuable. Next thing I know, if I'm looking for guitars on Reverb today, like 1980s guitars, early 90s guitars from Fender American Standard Stratocaster from like 95, people are asking $1,000, $1,100 for these guitars, whereas like they've been $600 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So all of these values are coming up, including the Japanese guitars, which I'm with you. I never really thought they were special. I don't think they're bad, but I never really understood like the feature set that they choose to use.
It doesn't make sense.
I always felt the same way about Japanese porn. I just don't understand. But like all the
they pixelate everything.
Yeah, it seems like they're laying it on too thick.
It's I don't understand, and people get mad at me, and you should see some of the comments on any of my vids where I'm talking about guitars. People are like, I like the radius, the round radius. Like I'm supposed to give a shit what somebody likes. I don't care. And you don't have to care what I like. I'm only talking about from a sales perspective. You are making the same crap over and over again. Fender makes a 9.5 radius neck. They make a 7.25, and it's over and over. And then people like Warmoth are coming out with 10 to 16, basically just stealing the market from you. Because instead of going out and buying another guitar, someone can go buy a used guitar, change and swap the neck from Warmoth. And to me, Fender's letting that money go out the window.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever said that there shouldn't be a vintage style radius on a guitar. We just have always kind of said if they make 71 different versions of a Strat, why can't they make one with big frets and a fat neck?
Right, exactly.
Kind of, that's all we've ever really said.
Yeah, and
nobody's criticizing your terrible taste in guitars.
Exactly. But it's ridiculous because let's just say there's 70 different Strats that they make. If I told you 69 of them have the exact same neck, you're going to be like, what the fuck are the differences? Like some shitbag at Fender sold you on the idea that it's a different model because this one comes HSS. They route it the same way. It's HSH. All the routings of the American standards is HSH. I can go buy a pick card for $15, $20 and go put whatever pickup combination I want.
Yeah, it seems like the distinction between models would be a lot more to do with what's the word I'm looking for? The integrated features rather than the external stuff that's real easy to swap. Maybe it's a part of the manufacturing where they're just like, it's just cheaper for us to do this, so we just do this.
The other stupid thing about it is, no matter what, if you buy an HSH or an HSS Strat and you want to change that humbucker, you have to change that pick guard.
Did they do an oversized humbucker?
they do a 2-1 screw set.
Oh, right.
You have to get another because no other aftermarket always just comes 2 holes.
Right,
so you
right.
have to get another pick guard.
Or just screw a hole in the middle if you're not that worried about it. I hear you.
Yeah. But to me, it's like, what, you want the guitar to look new. You bought a new guitar. You want your thing. So no matter what, you may as well have the one model.
I don't even hate that feature. I think that I kind of wish that other guitar companies would have, or I mean, pickup makers would have that feature. I love the fact that you got the 2 screw holes on the one side, so you can kind of balance it to make it hit the string a certain way. Because
Why not 2 on both?
And it's probably not necessary. I mean, clearly it's not necessary because I've lived my entire life without having that. But it is a little bit annoying in like my SG, for example, that the strings are on an angle like this and the pickup's sitting like that, and I can't make it do that.
Yeah,
so it's always going to have better string pull from one coil than the other.
Yeah, it's silly.
So,
it's and then you have people telling you that if the guitar is made of Carina, that will give you more focused mids. Yeah, let alone the pickup can't even line up with the guitar. The original reason
the Carina focused mids get negated by the fact that there's a lot sloppier mids in nitrocellulose.
That's right.
They lacquer it up, and everybody wants lacquer because it sounds better, but you're really
you're
pixelating your sound.
Like, remember the Kramer Berettas? They had the angled pickups.
Yeah,
and those were angled because it was before anyone really made F spacing. And so what they did was you would have to angle it so you could get the furthest pole to the furthest pole. That was the whole reason for the angling. I've seen people recently put F-space pickups in that. I'm like, you're missing the point.
Could you imagine having a Gibson Nighthawk or a Blues Hawk and saying, I want to put a DiMarzio Fred in that? You'd have to get a hammer out and start banging it on an angle, hoping that it goes from this to that. Those pickups are ridiculous.
Which one?
You know the pickup in that guitar.
Oh, no, I don't.
The Gibson Nighthawks and Blues Hawks, they're the ones that used to have the bridge pickup that was on an angle. But they manufactured the bridge pickup to where the coils were in line, but they were angled.
Right. Gotcha.
You remember what I'm talking about? I don't think the model's been around for a few years.
No, I haven't seen that guitar. What's it called? A Nighthawk?
Yeah, Gibson Nighthawk. I'm sure you've seen it, but...
Let me just take a look when I pull up the guitar. Oh, yes. It almost looks like, reminds me of the PRS pickup a little bit, but it's angled.
I don't know which PRS pickup you're talking about. But yeah, what a goofy pickup. Never replace that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's terrible. And the point was to do what basically Leo Fender did. Was to make it so the low strings were further away from the bridge. Right? Isn't that how it is on, or is it backwards on a Strat? No, I think it's that way.
Oh, it's that way. Yeah, it's that way.
Yeah. So because they didn't want they thought if it was straight across, it would be too thin on the bass strings.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's an ugly guitar anyway.
It's a weird one. I wonder if anybody out there has one.
When you said Nighthawk, all I was thinking was Kramer Night Swan.
Oh. That had that cool pattern for the dot inlays, right? It kind of went like...
You can get those at Warmouth. Warmouth will make you a guitar with those dot inlays.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I forget what they call them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I care.
Yeah. They call them Night Swan inlays.
That what's really funny? You have a nutcracker back there with a guitar hanging off of it.
It's a nutcracker guitar player.
It looks like Michelangelo Badio.
It is him.
Is it really?
No. One of my students, he was 8 years old when he gave me that for Christmas.
Look at the wig that's on it. It's just down in front of the eyes.
Exactly. It comes with a complete Nitro set of nutcrackers. You get, what was the singer's name?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Weren't they trying to put the band back together, Nitro? And they did a fundraising video. Oh, you don't know. They did a fundraising video where they were trying to raise money to do an album. And they got a new drummer. And I forget who the drummer was. I don't even know if they ever made the album, but it was like,
yeah,
it was
no idea.
Nitro reunion. Let me see if I can type something in. Yeah, I forget what they got for a drummer, but they had this thing. They may have pulled it down, but they
Holy God! I'm looking at a picture of Nitro right now. These guys had the biggest wigs in the industry.
Jim Gillette was the singer. That's the guy who I was trying to think of. He's bald now. He used to have the crazy hair.
All these guys have like the biggest hair I've ever seen. This is even bigger than like I think any of the other hair bands of that era.
Oh yeah, I know. No, Nitro was absolutely horrendous.
Other than Michelangelo, did they have anything in the band that was like a draw? Anything?
No, have you heard their songs?
No. No, I've honestly never heard them before. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, is it Chris Adler? Is he a drummer?
Oh, he's the drummer from Lamb of God.
Yes, he's the one that went in and did their reunion with them.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I wonder how much they... I didn't think they had any money to be able to pay a guy like that, because he actually...
Well, that's why they were fundraising. They were trying to raise money.
He was in Megadeth, too. He is in Megadeth. He's their drummer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have to imagine that Mustaine pays a little better than Nitro.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
You would imagine so. Here's the clip. I'll just pop it over to you. If I can get that. There we go. Boom.
Wow. This guy, this Jim Gillette guy, was married to Lita Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. That was his in the industry. If I marry this chick who's got a couple of hits, maybe my band can get in too. I bet there's some listeners out there right now who are like, I thought Nitro was actually pretty good. Who are these assholes to tell me?
I'm sure we're going to get that a comment, but they're not good. I'm sorry.
Nobody.
And look, John and I, we talked about Michelangelo Badio before in the past. He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. But
and a hell of a player. And hold on, folks, while John goes through Pornhub. All I heard was a woman's voice.
Oh my God. Hold on. All right, we're going into it, folks. Special guest Victor Wooten.
Oh, he's a great bass player.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Wait, were these guys back in the day singing like this death metal vocal?
No. They were... Oh, no. You really aren't familiar with Nitro?
No, not at all.
Oh, God. They had... What was their big song?
Well, this new shit that they're putting out right now is like really heavy. But I mean, it's oh, that's hilarious. They're just trying to sound modern.
Right.
Everybody needs a job, I guess.
Here was their original sound. Their original sound was
it was probably
exactly Freight Train. I can hear that scream from here.
The first thing I hear is like that multi-track.
Oh, yeah.
What in the world? What is with the multi-tracked high-pitched screeching?
That was like the Jim Gillette thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's amazing to me when you hear bands like Nitro and Vinnie Vincent Invasion, and people are like, I don't know why hair metal died. Oh, really? Have you heard these bands? Play a song by these guys and you'll see why. No one's buying it. You know what I mean? It's like the only people that are going are 13-year-old boys with cum in their pants because someone's playing a sweep arpeggio. And it's like, oh, yeah.
All the
But yeah,
13-year-old
no,
girls were going to the R. Kelly shows.
exactly. But it's like, no, seriously, there's no audience for that. And then bands like I remember the 80s because I was there. And Guns N' Roses came out and the Cult was already out and people were like really into the Cult. And those bands were playing songs that were simple and good and rocked. And at that point, you had bands like Rat playing Way Cool Jr. I mean, they already wore out their welcome at that point. I mean, it's like, and then you had every hair band was getting shittier and shittier. Except I thought Def Leppard Hysteria was a good record.
What year would that have been?
I
86
think
or
it's
7?
88. Yeah, it's either 87 or 88.
Okay. Okay. Little Mutt Lang action there.
Yeah, but I think it was the songs though. He made sure they had good songs and what can you say about it? You know what I mean? You may not like the songs, you may not like the style of music, but they were good songs. If you go to that same year, 86, Iron Maiden was playing Somewhere in Time.
Yeah.
There was some good songs.
With Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, which was still pretty good. There's some good stuff on it.
Yeah. There was and then you had hair bands that were just not keeping up. And it's too bad. Like everyone that knows me knows I love Fifth Angel, Midnight Love. I love that song.
Yeah.
And Howard Stern used it on the Channel 9 show, but no, they weren't getting any love on the radio and nobody knew who the hell they were. And right around that time, Buckethead had come out. And Buckethead was playing for Praxis. You remember with Bootsy Collins and Bernie Worrell? And that's a really good record. Transmutation, Mutandis, Mutant, whatever it's called.
That stuff was happening in the 80s?
Late 80s, early 90s.
I didn't know that.
Let's see what year that Praxis album came out.
Oh, I had no idea. I'm thinking
Mutandis.
the stuff that was on the radio, because I mean, Praxis was
92.
Okay.
Sorry, 92 it came out.
Right, but that wouldn't have been on the radio. The only thing you're getting on the radio in 92 is Nirvana.
Right. Nirvana and Soundgarden. Because wasn't 92 Bad Motorfinger? Or was that 91?
Yeah. Either way, it was still on the radio.
Right.
Alice Chains, Dirt.
Yeah.
But the only thing, I don't think anything was nothing was really hanging on at that point. I think by the time that wave crashed, the stuff from like 90 and 91, I remember like listening to the radio. 90 and 91, you still had Skid Row and Warrant and probably some Poison, but like by 93, that shit was all off.
Gone.
None of it. It was like, it feels a little bit like it was overnight. All I wanted to hear was Gypsy Rose from Cinderella.
Gypsy.
Just kidding.
Tom Kiefer.
Just kidding. It's an interesting thing. That's a band that didn't really fit the era. I think they were probably forced to fit the look, but that's a freaking Southern rock band. I mean, Cinderella, the songs they had weren't really, like Gypsy Road and some of that other stuff, that was not like hair metal. It was a lot more like...
Well, Nobody's Fool was Bringing on the Heartbreak. It was just a rip-off.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like they would have probably done better if they had kept their image more in line with like the Black Crowes.
Yeah, they didn't need to 80s it up. I think a lot of bands back then were jumping on the MTV train, and that train was heading right for a wall. You know what I mean? That was going to be a big crash, and it crashed terribly. And even MTV bailed immediately. It went to like Yo MTV Raps, and it was all about R&B and rap music in the 90s. No one cared.
Yeah.
They had a Headbangers Ball, and other than that, I mean,
Yeah,
it's funny
1
for me
hour
in
a
the
week
'80s.
devoted to hard rock,
Yeah,
and then
But-
all of the other rock, they filtered it through MTV Unplugged. So
well,
were
they
like,
also
"We're
had
gonna-"
some industrial stuff on like Sunday
Sunday.
nights. I remember,
right,
but you know,
they weren't feeding the audience a steady diet of rock. Is
No.
what I'm saying. You'd
Right,
get an hour
was
here or
done.
whatever. Yeah.
They jumped ship, and for me in the '80s, like right around when Iron Maiden, I still loved Iron Maiden, but around '88, I was really getting into the Cure and the Smiths and Depeche Mode, and I was loving the songs and the different recording stuff and the use of like the bass six guitars and just something different because I was so hungry for something else. And about 91, 92, when grunge came in, I was like, oh, this I like. And I remember I used to play in a metal band in the 80s, and we went back together and they wanted to put the band back together, and I brought a CD of Bad Motorfinger. I brought Alice in Chains Facelift, and there was one other CD I brought. I'm like, if you guys are willing to do this kind of music, I'll join the band. And they listened to it, and like two of the guys in the band are like, no way, dude. We're playing hair metal. And I was just like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not doing it. And, you know, then of course, like, you know, the 90s were great with when, because you got 92, you had Symphony of Destruction. Megadeth was kicking ass that year.
Metallica just released the Black Album, right? That was 91, but it was still they
Yeah,
were feeding a
Colossus.
steady stream of hits off of that record.
Colossus. I mean, it was just huge for them.
Did you happen to hear? You're familiar with this kid Post Malone?
I know the name, and I know that he writes garbage.
You should look up just a picture of this kid. He's got like a bunch of face tattoos and like a pubes stash. Like I don't know if he's old enough to grow a real mustache or not. It's just kind of funny.
Right.
You gotta look this kid up.
The kid's worth a fortune, isn't he?
He's worth a ton of money, and it's just hilarious because he is the anti MTV. Like if this was 1991, this kid would not have a deal. But he's
Right.
also proof that maybe that whole fad of like you have to be beautiful to be a pop star is going away because this kid's straight up ugly.
Oh yeah, he's got the barbed wire on his face. It looks like he has some words on there: stay away, always, bread. He's got the teeth are all silver.
How funny would it be if instead of bread it said Wonder Bread?
Right.
It'd be much
Sunbeam.
better decision making. So,
But he's worth a fortune, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pop stars around right now, and he just did a collaboration with freaking Ozzy.
Oh, it says he's only worth 14 million.
Oh, is that all?
Well, I mean, considering I've been hearing how he's been like going at it for a while.
Well,
I
he's
would
still pretty
imagine.
young. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how long he's been doing it, but
He's
it's
22.
he's only 22 years old,
Yeah.
and he's worth $14 million. I think he's doing all right.
Yeah, no, he's doing all right. Let me see what Taylor Swift is worth. 360 million.
Yeah, but she's in her later 20s now. He's had it is pretty unbelievable to look at this kid. Kid is not an attractive kid. What in the
Katy
world?
Perry's worth 330 million.
Very hard to look at this kid. Anyway,
Oh yeah, he's not a looker.
No. But anyway, yeah, he just did a collaboration with freaking Ozzy.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just like, what?
Boy. That tells me one thing. Sharon is desperate to keep Ozzy relevant.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's exactly the case.
Absolutely. Ozzy's career, I mean, after No More Tears, he should have retired.
Mm-hmm.
Taken some years off and then come back and done a Black Sabbath tour or an Ozzy tour and call it a day.
I'm sure he must have had enough money to retire. Sometimes,
Ozzy?
yeah,
Ozzy's worth a fortune.
I think sometimes it's just the personality types. You get like Sharon, who's just like ambitious beyond healthy. She probably just, she can't.
Well,
Let him
Ozzy's worth
retire.
$220 million. About 140 less than Taylor Swift.
Sure. $200 million from somebody who's been singing metal their whole life is pretty good, though. Not necessarily a pop star.
Wow. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was weird that they did a collaboration. Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head. Probably has everything in the world to do with Sharon.
Oh, he could give a shit about. I mean, I want you to do a song with Post Malone. Yeah, Ozzy, you want to just get the hell in there and do it? Do what I say.
He's probably like, I was supposed to go to record company's telling me to go to the post office. No.
Sharon, are you telling me to Pogue Mahone? No, Post Malone. Pogue Mahone, you filthy whore.
It's so stupid.
Kid,
I got bad news for you.
What's up?
I got to get wrapped up. You know what? Did I tell you I'm going to Chicago tonight?
Good news.
Yeah, exactly. I got to go to Chicago tonight. Yeah.
So what's in Chicago? What are you going to go there for?
Chicago Music Exchange.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to go and do that. And then I'm going to head up to Wisconsin because I like Wisconsin.
What's going on there? You got to go visit stores?
Yeah, go see Cream City Music, which is amazing. Casio Interstate Music, which is amazing. And a place I've never been before, which I'm very excited about, Dave's Guitar Shop.
Ooh.
You've heard of Dave's Guitar Shop, have you?
You got to go see Dave's private collection.
Maybe if I'm so lucky, I will be in the right location.
Yeah, he's got it upstairs, I think, doesn't he?
Hey, Dave, can I see your collection? Yeah. 3. A small one in Milwaukee, a medium one in Madison, and a big one in La Crosse.
Oh, which one are you going to?
I'm going to stop in the one in Madison and the one in La Crosse.
It's Madison time. Nice. Yeah, no, his shop is world famous.
I'm really excited to see it because I know that he's got some killer shit.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I've never met the guy before. I talked to him on the phone a couple times, and he's been very, very nice. So
nice,
very inviting about having me come out. And I'm
nice. What do they carry? Friedman and Morgan?
Nah, man, they're not really doing anything. Which is why I need to get over there. It just seems like if you've got $2 million worth of vintage guitars hanging in your shop, or however much it is, you got to have something nice to play through it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All righty, John. Well, you have a good week of traveling. When are you back in L.A.?
I'm back in L.A. on Thursday night late, and I'll be doing the office thing on Friday and playing a show at the Pork Chop Express on Saturday.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. The shows are always fun.
No gigs coming up this weekend.
It's the barbecue show.
Oh, wait, I have a gig next weekend?
If it is, there's a barbecue.
Hold on, shit. I think I'm in Rhode Island next weekend. Let me just take a look here at my calendar. Open the piss up. I can't believe I spaced on this. I'm playing a gig next week.
Uh-oh.
What did I say? I said I'm not playing a gig? I am playing a gig. But Saturday, I think I have something to do Saturday. Someone's playing and I'm supposed to see them, and I can't remember.
Uh-oh. Get that calendar working. All right, with that, I'm going to roll.
All right, very good, John. I'll wrap you later.
Catch you later. See you guys.
All right, very good.
You're listening to Guitar Talk with Dave and John.